3 yards in a cloud of dust. I always
I didn't know you were doing this. How long you been up here?
Are
you the lead counsel or are you elected?
no, appointed counsel. I'm not elected. Just shy of 2 years.
Okay. Like it?
I get along with everybody. I do everything.
Right. Nah, I think you kidding me.
Good to see you.
No, man, I see you. Just want to say hey, man.
Good to see you, man. Take care of yourself.
Right, you too.
How are you, sir?
Good about yourself.
Hello. How are you, sir? G, what's going on, man?
Welcome to Kent County Levy Court, Tuesday, November 9th, 2021. We're at the Kent County Levy Court Chambers, room 203 at 555 Bay Road in Dover, Delaware. Before we proceed and open the business meeting, I'll have the county administrator explain how by phone and by computer works.
Thank you, Mr. President. This meeting is being offered in a virtual setting as well as in person here at 555 Bay Road. We're offering guests to join us via WebEx. And for those who may be joining us via WebEx, if you're on a mobile phone, we'll provide instructions throughout the meeting at the opportunity for public comment. But for that purpose, if you want to note that the *3 functions, press *3 on your mobile phone, that will raise an electronic hand at our operator, and we'll be able to acknowledge you and bring you into the meeting room at that time. *6 will mute or unmute your phone. If you're on a computer, a laptop, or a desktop, the graphic symbols in WebEx will direct you. There's a hand symbol for raising your hand, and there's the mute and unmute button as well. And again, we'll repeat these instructions at the appropriate times throughout the meeting. And also, this is a proceeding of the Levy Court business meeting, and as such, we'll be following the adopted rules of procedure for business meetings of Levy Court, as well as the Mason's Rules of Order. Mr. President, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open the business meeting. We'll call to order, and I'll ask Commissioner Howell for the invocation. Commissioner Maston lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Sweeney will give us a moment of silence for our troops and first responders. All rise.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us all here tonight. We pray that all of our proceedings will be pleasing to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to honor our military, law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, and other first responders who have lost their lives in the line of duty, protecting and fighting for our freedoms. We also honor all first responders and medical staff who have succumbed to COVID-19 virus complications contracted through close interaction with infected patients, losing their lives caring for others. As of today, more than 755,000 Americans nationwide, 2,119 in Delaware, and 452 here in Kent County have lost their lives to COVID. Please also remember these individuals who died in the line of duty, as well as keeping their thoughts in their families in your thoughts and prayers as they deal with the loss of their loved ones. Senior Patrolman Sherman Bennis Jr. from the Kingsville Police Department in Texas. Deputy Sheriff Lena Marshall from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office in Georgia. Police Officer Paramans Desai from the Henry County Police Department in Georgia. And Engine Boss Layla Bradley from the United States Fire Administration in Clark, Wyoming. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, Commissioner Sweeney. Mr. Naka, we can have a roll call, please, to determine quorum.
Mr. Angel?
Present.
Mr. Buxton? Absent. Mr. Hall?
Present.
Mr. Howell?
Here.
Mrs. Maston? Present. Mr. Sweeney?
Here.
Mr. Pepper?
Here.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Commissioner Buxton is attending the visitation services for Governor Minner this evening. He's going to try to join us online a little bit later on. All right, can we have a motion to adopt the agenda for this evening?
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton? Absent. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston? Yes. Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. This evening's agenda has been adopted. The motion on consent agenda 21-11.
Move to approve consent agenda 21-11.
Second. Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Sweeney, second by Commissioner Hall to approve the consent agenda. Can we have a roll call on that, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton? Absent. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. The consent agenda for this evening has been approved. We have a few presentations this evening. Resolution 3904, proclaiming Kent County a Purple Heart County. Mr. Naka, can we have you read that into the record, please?
Whereas the residents of Kent County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all of the men and women who have selflessly served their country and this community in the armed forces, and whereas the contributions and sacrifices of the men and women from Kent County that served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens, and whereas the Kent County Levy Court seeks to honor these individuals who have paid the high price for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas on August 7th, 1782, General George Washington issued an order establishing the badge of military merit to honor merit, particularly among the enlisted soldiers. And whereas on February 22nd, 1932, the badge of military merit was renamed the Purple Heart, which is awarded to any member of the United States Armed Forces wounded or killed in combat by a declared enemy of the United States. And whereas many citizens of Kent County are recipients of the Purple Heart Medal as a result of being wounded or killed while engaged in combat with an enemy force, construed as a singular meritorious act of essential service. And whereas the Kent County Levy Court appreciates the sacrifices our Purple Heart recipients made while defending freedom and believes specific recognition have accorded them in appreciation of their courage and to demonstrate the honor and support they earned. Now therefore be it resolved that on this, the 9th day of November 2021, the Kent County Levy Court hereby declares Kent County, Delaware as a Purple Heart County, honoring the service and sacrifices of our men and women in uniform, wounded or killed by the enemy while serving to protect the freedoms of all Americans. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be forwarded to the Military Order of the Purple.
Thank you. This is a resolution. We need a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. President. Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please, on Resolution 3904?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton? Absent. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. Roll call reveals that Resolution 3904 has been approved by Levy Court. And I believe there are some folks here tonight to receive this. You want to come forward, and we'll meet you down front. Thanks for doing welcome, this. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. How you doing, sir? Well, appreciate you being here. Gentlemen, congratulations. Well, I guess the best word would be welcome to Levy Court, and thank you for coming to represent the Purple Heart recipients. We are honored to do this for you and designating Kent County a Purple Heart County. We have many heroes from Kent County, and that's just one way that we can recognize them. And we appreciate you being here tonight, and thank you for carrying on your mission. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much. My father just passed, and I buried him this past week, and he was a Purple Heart recipient. In fact, he should have had 2 Purple Hearts, and when I went after to get his second Purple Heart, he said, "Son, one's enough." But thank you very much for our heroes.
Thank you so much for your service, and it's an honor to be here with all of you.
I agree. Thank you very much for being here. It's an honor for us. I appreciate your service. Thank you.
Thank you for your service, and we appreciate you coming out, and very happy to do this.
Very honored to have you here tonight. Thank you very much for your service.
And like Commissioner Angel, my father was severely injured in combat as well during World War II, during Operation Husky, the invasion of Sicily. And so what you represent means a lot to me and my family, and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And you have something there?
Yes, sir, if you don't mind.
No, sure.
Okay. On behalf of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, we have a special recognition to bestow with pride on Kent County, Delaware, for your dedication and support of honoring America's combat wounded veterans, becoming a Purple Heart County. Presented by the Patriot members of the Department of Delaware, Military of Purple Heart. And we all thank you very much, and this will join it with the rest of it we have in the country doing the same thing. And it's really an honor. After Vietnam, we were not welcomed back like we are nowadays. And this is a big thing for us, so we really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and we will proudly display this. And we'll proudly display that, and I think we've got the appropriate place for that. It's really nice. Yes. So if you want to come on up here. Okay. Oh, you gave us that, so we'll give you this. Yeah. And we can get pictures taken here. Are we going to stay here? We'll stay up here. Let it be noted that Commissioner Buxton is now here. We have all 7 commissioners present. The next item on the agenda is a special Kent County presentation, Resolution 3905, and Commissioner Angel is going to read that into the record for us.
Thank you, Mr. President. Take my mask down. Resolution 3905, Kent County Medal for Judy Diego. Whereas President Judy Diego of the Central Delaware Chamber of Commerce is retiring after 17 years of advocating on the behalf of big and small businesses in Kent County at the Delaware General Assembly and before Levy Court, and spending countless hours organizing community events, supporting Dover Air Force Base, encouraging job growth, manufacturing, contributing to the development of the area's workforce, economic development, promoting tourism, economic impact, partnering, and area organizations and agencies for the good of the Central Delaware business community. And the past 18 months, tenaciously rallying for businesses as they have been struggling through the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas, under her stellar leadership and insight influence, the CDCC has flourished, experiencing 40% membership and expanding its impact and its voice in the Dover area business community by demonstrating that the 5-star nationally accredited chamber is without a doubt the essential resource for businesses in Central Delaware. And whereas Judy Diego is a lifelong Delawarean, born in Houston, and began her career as the Chamber of Commerce of Greater Milford before serving as the Director of Development at the Kent Sussex Industries, a non-for-profit vocational rehabilitation organization. And whereas Judy Diego has been recommended for the Kent County Medal in accordance with the provisions of the Kent County Levy Court policy and the requirements thereof, now therefore be it resolved that the Kent County Levy Court does hereby recognize, commend, and award Judy Diego of Dover, Delaware, and the Kent County Medal for meritorious service for this 9th day of November 2021, and signed by all the commissioners and our county administrator.
So, Judy, come on down. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Before I give you the medal, I want us to say a few things first, okay? And even though I just read this in the record, there's a few more things I want to say that's not on here. Your leadership for Central Delaware, the Blue Suiters Golf Tournament, the state-based briefing, military affair, honorary commander program. She's been busy. Judy has an infectious smile that gets things done. Her optimistic cheerleading chant, rah, rah, ree, kick him in the knee, rah, rah, ras, kick him in the other knee, just to get people to look at what we're doing in our county. So with this, I'm going to say, you've done a lot. We're going to miss you, and I hope you stay close by.
Congratulations on a job well done, and you will be missed.
Well done, champ. It's been a pleasure and honor. I hope you don't leave us, and I can call on you for advice because you've been a champion, as you already, well, if you don't know, you should know. Thank you very much.
Judy, you work to make us look good. And so you are I consider you our #1 cheerleader. And you've done an outstanding job. Everybody knows you. Of course, you know everybody too. But you've done an outstanding job for the county. We really, really hate to let you go. But at least you're not leaving the state. So you'll be close by. And so we just wanted to do something to recognize you for all that you've done, all the jobs you've helped create, all the people that you've helped, all the businesses that you've helped. So it takes a special person to reach out like you've done and bring people together. And you've done a fantastic job. So that's why we're here tonight to present you with this.
I agree. For the about 11 years I've been on Levy Court, I've seen you everywhere, a bunch of times. You're active and you're always cheerful, and this recognition is just a small token of our appreciation. All right.
Judy, this is well-deserved. Everything that you've done for the county, I sincerely hope that you're not just going to melt into the background, because the county will be worse off if you're not continued to be a part of it. Thank you.
Congratulations, and it's been an honor working with you on the chamber, and I appreciate your leadership, especially over the last 2 years. Trying times, and it was really your leadership that really, instrumental for small businesses in this county, so thank you.
Judy, a lot's been said, all well deserved. I think your greatest attribute, and I've shared this with you before, is your boundless enthusiasm. No matter what you're doing, where you're at, what the circumstances are, you're always up and cheerful, and as Glenn said, just a great representative for the entire county, the business community. I know they all immensely appreciate what you've done over your 17 years with the chamber, and if you could bottle that enthusiasm and sell it, you'd make $1 zillion. I guarantee it. So congratulations. Yeah. So glad we're able to honor you this way.
Yeah. Mr. President, I'm going to have you hold that, please. Judy is with distinct honor and pride that we, in Levy Court, bestow this medal upon you.
It's engraved on the back.
It is engraved and on this day, and please enjoy it. And I don't know what else to say because everybody said so much.
You're number 34. We don't just hand this medal out willy-nilly. You really have to deserve it, and as you'll see, that's engraved your name on the back. It also has a number on there. I believe you're number 34 to receive this medal. So, congratulations, well deserved. And now, don't you hate to leave us?
I won't go far. May I say?
You certainly can.
May I take this off?
Sure can.
Okay. Well, I'm extremely humbled, and I'm extremely honored. It has been such a privilege to work with each and every one of you. It has been the greatest joy that I have ever had, supporting and being the voice for the businesses here in Kent County. It is something I will always hold dear to my heart, and I promise I will never be far away. You all have my number. You know where to call me. If you need me, I will come at any time. But it takes a village, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you, because each and every one of you have given me so much support through the 17 years, and many of the people sitting out here, they've always been there, and you just don't do this by yourself. So I really want to have this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you all who are in this room for everything that you do, because together we make Kent County special. It's not just one person. So I thank you. I am absolutely honored. Just thank you so very much.
Well, you know what? We're so excited to give this to you. We kind of got ahead of ourselves. I don't think we voted, did we? Did we vote to do this? So, Lori, we better take a roll call vote to make sure we're still going to give this to her. So, there you go. Never mind, Lori. We got it taken care of. All right, come over here for a second. Put that, I'll stick the metal in. Got it? You good? Thank you. Thank you. Mike, how are we going to do the tributes for the... So we'll just stay up here and... Okay, sounds great. Service awards or awards for coaches. The next presentation that we have are tributes of appreciation to volunteer youth sports coaches. And Mr. Shepard here is from our Parks and Recreation Division, and he's got some certificates here that we're going to hand out to the folks that are here tonight. Okay. Lori, you can go ahead and read one into record, please.
There are a total of 42 volunteer youth sports coaches that this tribute of appreciation has been prepared for. And the tribute reads, on this Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, the Levy Court pays tribute to these individuals for having volunteered their time and passion coaching youth sports through Kent County Parks and Recreation during the fall of 2021. Kent County Parks and Recreation sponsors the Kent County or the Kent Youth Soccer League and the Junior NBA Basketball League that services nearly 500 children and their families in Kent County. Without the help of volunteer coaches, these leagues would not be possible. The passion for sports and the youth of Kent County shown by volunteer coaches drives the success of the experience of the participants and families. The Levy Court sincerely appreciates and thanks them for their outstanding and dedicated service toward making a successful program and for bringing the joy of sports to the children of Kent County. Congratulations on a job well done.
Okay, just a couple words before I call down individuals again. You know, through the pandemic for almost the last 2 years, there's been a very limited amount of programming that Parks and Recreation has been able to do. And it's even harder when you're trying to find people to volunteer during those hard times. And that's why this is really a special moment, because even though a lot of them didn't show up because they're busy with their families and their life, they really are just gold to us, you know, in order to continue to run these programs the best that we can during these tough times. So what I'll do is I'm going to start with the junior NBA coaches that have come tonight. Call them down one by one. If you'd like to come down and maybe do the line, shake hands, and then stay up for a picture, then I'll get to the KYSL. Okay? Does that sound good? All right. First one, Amir Willingham. Antoine Parker. Chuck Goodman. Kelby Peace Bullock. Michael Bowden. And Mike Gorman. We'll get them all down here. All right, those are our junior NBA coaches that came tonight. Now for our Kent Youth Soccer League. And this league this fall had 403 participants in it. So just an amazing effort. Our first coach, Alexander Griffin. Amanda Landry. Nando Valena. Jeffrey Thompson. And if there was anybody else that came in and didn't get checked in, please let me know. Okay. All right. Those are our coaches, some of them. Again, thank you so much for your volunteer service. Without you guys and gals, the programs just don't work. Team photo time, absolutely. Yep. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you, thank you, Wide lens.
Step in, Michael.
Step in, squeeze it in.
Thank you again, everybody.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate all your time.
Judy, Diogo, are you here for something else tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll continue on with our meeting. The next item on the agenda for our public hearing is a resolution regarding issuance of bonds to finance projects for Bay Health Medical Center Incorporated. Commissioner Maston, that falls under you.
A resolution approving in accordance with Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended and in accordance with Section 66030411A of the Wisconsin statutes, the issuance of bonds to finance projects for Bay Health Medical Center Incorporated.
Is that your motion? We've described it.
If I may. This matter is a public hearing, Mr. President, so we'll need to open up the hearing. Before we do that, though, I believe we have our bond counsel, Emily Ninen, on WebEx. Emily, if you would like to join us for comment and explain the proposal before Levy Court before we open the hearing.
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Good evening. It's Emily Ninen. As you know, I'm a partner at Ballard Spar, and we serve as bond counsel in various bond transactions. This public hearing and bond action is a little bit different than what we usually discuss. These bonds are not actually going to be issued by the county. It's going to be issued by a different issuer because the project is in two different counties, in Kent and Sussex. But the tax code requires that we have a local hearing, public hearing, so that those who live close to the project have a chance to comment. And then the highest elected official of the county is required to pass the resolution. In this case, because we don't have an elected executive at the county level, this resolution is coming to the whole legislative body of Levy Court. So again, in this case, the county itself will not be issuing any bonds. You're just helping facilitate the issuance for Bay Health. And as a result, there's no liability to the county, there's no cost to the county, and there's no credit of the county being used for this transaction. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. And at this time, we'll open the public hearing on this resolution and ask anyone in the audience or that is in favor of this to please come forward. Anyone in the audience that is in favor, please come forward. Anyone on the phone in favor? Up. We got one here in the audience.
Yep. I'm in favor of it. My name is Bill Holmes, and I live at 724 South State Street. I'm very much in favor of this. The hospital is wonderful. We have great nurses, doctors, people that work there are great. My family has owned property next to the hospital since 1952. I'm the only person in Dover that still owns property next to the hospital. They bought everybody else out. I've been trying to sell my property for 8 months. And the reason I can't sell it is because everybody says, there goes a helicopter, and so forth. But when they gave the smoking ban up, I had a lot of smokers in my backyard. They burned my fence down. And thanks to Dr. Jabarwar and the Robbins Hose Company, they put it out. I never complained about it. They have trucks parking next to my property line that I have to look at all the time. And it's a great hospital. I'm all in favor of what they want to do. But they're devaluing my property, and everybody that comes to look at it to buy it says that's why they don't want to buy it. Now, I'm very much in favor of this project and hope you will approve it. But at the same time, the hospital has to reach out to me and sit down with me and talk to me. Either they're going to buy my property or they're going to make some arrangements to stop what's going on in the neighborhood, because I'm the only one. I can sit in my kitchen and look at patients in their beds. I'm that close. They've built up to my property. It's so close. So I just want to say I'm very much in favor of this application, and I hope that you will approve it. But I just wanted to give you a little update of what's going on in my world. And I appreciate your time. And Santa Claus would like to congratulate Judy.
Thank you, Santa.
For the many years you gave. And I want to congratulate all you for what you do for the county. You people do a great job, and the county's lucky to have you. And thanks for giving me a few minutes so I can get up and say how I feel. But we have a wonderful hospital. It's just amazing what they've done there. I'm not against the hospital. I'm just in a catch-22. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.
Pepper?
Yes, Mr. Buxton.
Chairman? Yes. Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
I know we would all be remiss if we didn't reciprocate the accolades and thank you for the things that you've done for this community, because they are many.
I don't know about that. It's nothing what you've all done.
Humble's the pie you eat. I appreciate you, and I'm sure the others feel the same way, buddy.
Well, thank you all very much. You're very kind, and I appreciate it very much. Keep up the good work. God bless you all.
Thank you, Bill. Anyone else in the audience? Yes, sir. Please give your name and address.
My name is Mike Trattina, 44 Cinnamon Way, Dover, Delaware, and I serve as the Chief Financial Officer for Bay Health. And I support the projects. They are severely needed to improve the access of care, to grow physicians. There's a huge physician need in Delaware, and to provide single patient rooms for our patients so we don't have roommates during a pandemic. So, thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you. Okay. Anyone else?
If we have anyone else on WebEx that wishes to address Levy Court on this matter in favor, press *3 on your mobile device. We can bring you into the room, or the raise hand icon on your computer.
I see no hands raised on WebEx at this time.
Thank you. With that being said, anyone in the audience in opposition to this resolution? Anyone in opposition?
Similarly, if there's anyone on WebEx that wishes to address this matter in opposition, please press *3 on your mobile phone or the raise hand icon on your computer.
No hands raised on WebEx.
Thank you. At this time, we'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I motion 47F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended and in accordance with Section 66.030411A of the Wisconsin statutes, the issuance of bonds to finance projects for Bay Health Medical Center, Incorporated.
Second the motion.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Madison, second by Commissioner Angel. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes, reasons stated by our bond counsel, Emily Nyan, and no opposition.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes, reasons stated.
Mr. Hall?
Yes, for reasons stated.
Mr. Howell?
Yes, reasons stated.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes, reason stated.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes, for all reasons stated.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes, for all reasons stated.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
7 yeas means the resolution has been approved by Kent County Levy Court. This time we'll close the public hearings and recess to committee meetings. The first item under committee is the Administration Committee. Under Commissioner Angel, who's the chair, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Petamaj, Judy, and
Thank you, Commissioner Angel. As our guests are arriving to the table, you'll recall that in October, early October, we met with Pete Bradley and Judy Diogo to talk about some conceptual grant programs that had been developed to assist small businesses that have suffered as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And since that time, staff and Judy and Pete and myself, along with Cassie Porter and Tammy Ordway from Fall Casson, have worked on developing the grant application a little further, along with assistance from Susan Durham, our finance director. And so tonight we're here to provide an update on our progress. And you saw in your packet that the last time we met, we just had the committee meeting. We did not take a formal action. We did give some indication of direction. And so we've pursued that, and we've prepared a couple of motions for your consideration later in the business meeting if you choose to formalize an action tonight. So with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to Judy and Pete and Cassie so that they can explain to you a little further some of the improvements we've made as we've met over the past month. Folks?
Thank you, Mike. As Mike alluded, we've had several meetings go over in the details, and we thought it'd be very helpful and get a little more insight for you. Cassie Porter can walk you through the mechanics of an applicant applying for these grants and how the process would work. Also, there's actually a grid as far as the max grant and how that works, and we're going to go through a couple examples for you as well. So give you a little bit of flavor and a little detail how this process works, and obviously have questions, please feel free to ask them. So I'll turn it over to Cassie Porter from Fall Casson.
Hi everyone. So I'm just going to go over the process that we are hoping to get approved. We are working with the State of Delaware Small Business Division so that we can utilize their technology. Can you hear me better now? Sorry. We are going to try to use the same technology that the state of Delaware used for their Delaware Relief Grant to help offset costs. We are working very closely with the director there. We have submitted a draft application for some changes that we need to make based on what they use for the Delaware Relief Grant. But essentially what's going to happen is we are going to have an online application through Salesforce. We will be asking the applicants to submit a 2019 and 2020 tax return, along with a current business license that shows that they are in business in Kent County, and along with telling us how many full-time employees they have. Then we're going to review those tax returns at Fallcaston to make sure everything looks right, because we all know how easy it is, unfortunately, to do a false tax return. And then we will determine the grant amount that they are eligible for based on the decrease in gross revenues and the number of full-time employees. In your packet, there was a draft grant calculation, so I'll go over those scenarios now. I do want to point out that on that table, there is a column that says percentage of decrease. Just ignore that. That was when we were testing out what we were going to do. Under scenario 1, you'll see that this company has 10 full-time employees. In 2019, they reported $100,000 in gross revenue, and in 2020, it decreased to $75,000. That's a $25,000 decrease, or a 25% decrease. What we did then is, based on the number of full-time employees being 10, we said the 25% decrease multiplied by the actual dollar amount of $25,000 gives you a maximum grant of $6,250 based on the full-time employees. In this situation, they did not cap out their grant at $25,000. In the second situation, you'll see that we have 30 employees, and the gross revenue in 19 was $750,000 compared to $550,000 in 2020. That's a $200,000 decrease, or a 27% decrease. Now, when you do the 27% decrease, you'll see that the grant would be $54,000. But based on the full-time employees only being 30, opposed to 51 to 75, the grant is capped at 50. We utilize these grants hoping that we would be able to help as many businesses as possible, because our goal is to get funds out on the street to help the businesses survive. Once Fallcaston goes through the grant process and approves the tax return, figures out the grant amount, we will then push everything over to the Chamber or Kent County Tourism, depending on which grant the applicant is applying for their final approval, and from there it will go over to Kent County Levy Court for them to decide yes for sure and cut the checks and administer the grant.
Any questions, gentlemen? Commissioner Sweeney.
Thanks, sir. When does the program end?
We are hoping to roll it out in 3 phases. We would love to be able to launch this early December, have a December month, January, and February, to try to give as many businesses a chance to apply as possible.
And at the end of February, if there's funds that are left over?
We are considering doing a bonus, similar to what the Delaware did for the state relief grant. They went back and bonused things out. We are going to look at doing the same thing.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else?
By using the Salesforce tool that has already been in place, I mean, that really should cut our administrative costs, tremendously, because we won't be building a portal for this. So we really have our fingers crossed that we're going to be able to use the Division of Small Business Salesforce portal, which will allow us to be able to give more money to the businesses rather than spending that on administrative costs.
President Bever? So how are you getting the word out to the businesses that this is going to be available?
We'll be doing press releases once it's approved. Press releases will go out. We'll do broadcast emails. We're also going to run some advertisements in the Delaware State News, since this is really based for Kent County business.
Commissioner Hall?
Thanks, Commissioner Angel. I was just wondering if we could publish through our website, county website, since this is federal funds. Okay, just another way to spread the word. And thanks very much for putting this together so quickly. It's excellent, and I'm sure the small businesses are I know one in particular I'm going to be calling tomorrow, who, when I was talking about it, they were very interested in this. So to get this all put together so quickly is outstanding. Thanks so much.
Mr. Chairman, sorry. Can I ask one question? I know it's a little unusual to the team here. Congratulations, Judy. You use FTE. That's a term. Does that include a combination of full-time and part-time employees?
Yes, we're going to have a FAQ that'll explain how to compute the full-time equivalent, since it's different for everybody.
Thank you.
Mr. Buxton.
Two things. Is this unique to Kent County, or is this something that's been tried in other jurisdictions? It's okay if it has been. I was just curious.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay,
no.
Fair enough. Good. And then maybe be fluid. First of all, I think it's a great program. It seems simplistic, nimble, able to use it. But if there's an unforeseen obstacle of sorts, I guess what the process would be, what is to come back to us if it requires
I think
an adjustment?
I think one of the positives of doing this in phases, 3 phases. After the first phase, real time, see if we have any kinks or issues or whatnot, and then our plan is to go back to Mike and the commissioners, you as well, as here's some of the challenges, here's some of the good things we're seeing. So I think it has to be a little bit of a dynamic process, and so I think that's the positive of having 3 phases, I think.
Mr. Hall?
Just to follow up, when I was doing some research on ARPA funds, I was looking at all sorts of different states. I think Colorado may have done something similar, but this is much, much simpler, much easier process, which I think is what's best. I mean, theirs was very convoluted, and I was hoping that we could avoid that. So this is, again, a very nice, streamlined solution. Appreciate all the thought that went into it.
And again, we're trying to make it as simple for the business community as possible. So by using the portal, they're already familiar with this through the Delaware Relief Grant, so it's not going to be a difficult process for them. And the reason why we're using Falcassin is Falcassin actually worked with the state of Delaware to put the portal together, and they actually helped with the Delaware Relief Grant. So we actually have the sitting experts with us. So I think that's going to also help us not have as many kinks in the program.
Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Commissioner Angel. Just to add to what's already been said, we did include in the application some disclosures that applicants would need to provide to us. And one, it seems very simple, but are you still in business? Number 2 would be, have they received any other ARPA funding assistance from any other municipal or state source? Because there's provisions in ARPA that restrict people from getting money from multiple sources for the same thing. So that needs to be disclosed by the applicants. And then also our clean hands provisions, if there are any outstanding violations on the business, or if they owe the county any money, they need to disclose that and what the nature of it is. And then from there, if we get those types of responses, we will have to deal with them internally before we process the application. But just wanted to put that in there as well, that I think this has been a very well thought out approach, and we tried to intentionally keep it relatively efficient with great help here. And greatly appreciate Falcassin being with us in this endeavor, because I think that brings a whole level of confidence with it. And so I guess I'll stop there. Thank you.
Anyone else? Just a quick question. I know when we had our initial discussion, Judy, we were talking about the membership of the chamber. This is going to be opened up for all small businesses then now?
All small businesses in Kent County, yes, sir.
Okay. That's great. Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Anybody else? Okay. We're done with that subject. Ms. Bettermosh.
One other thing, while I'm thinking of disclosure, I just want to make sure that commissioners understand that when we met last time, we spoke about $3 million reserved for the small business grant, $2 million for the hospitality industry grants, and there will be some administrative costs associated with running this program, such as the hours that are going to be billed by Fall Casson to help with this. And so the way that will work, we talked about this conceptually today, Fall Casson will bill the two agencies before you, Kent County Tourism and the Central Delaware Chamber, and then they will submit to us for reimbursement of those fees. And I just want to make sure that you were aware of that and that aspect of it. So thank you.
And again, just to make it easy for your records, what we're going to try to do is have all of it on an Excel spreadsheet, and then copies of all invoices will be attached to that spreadsheet, so that way you will have that documentation when you have to pass that on to the federal government.
I have a quick question for our legal department. Since Tammy Orway helped put this together and Fall Casson is my business is there a conflict of interest here?
No.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you on that. Everybody sees the two motions, though, for what Mr. Pettermars was saying on the, yes, Mr. Sweeney. Let's move it forward to the business meeting. Mr. Buxton? 7 up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's the Kent Economic Strategic Fund request. Please come on down. Ms. Parkowski and Laura.
Let me just get started. Okay. Hi. Linda Parkowski with the Kent Economic Partnership, and with me tonight is Laura Whistler from the Division of Small Business and Jay Stamo from USA Fulfillment. This is the first strategic fund request coming up before you tonight. And I wanted you to have a little bit of background about USA Fulfillment, a company that's growing here in our county that actually was positively impacted by COVID. And we're grateful because they've hired more employees, they're expanding. And tonight's specific request is about equipment, new equipment that they need to streamline their process. But first I'm gonna let Laura give you a little bit of background on how Jay and all of us got to be together and why they grew in Kent County.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight and speak for USA Fulfillment. So Jay actually reached out to the Division of Small Business in September of 2019 via just our main portal. It was like, hey, we have this small business, we're thinking about maybe growing. So I jumped on the opportunity and got back to him the same day. I met with Jay on the phone and said, all right, well, talk to me about your small business. Where are you from? What do you do? And what are you looking to do here in Kent County specifically? Because I knew they were already here. I did a little bit of Google searching. And Jay laid out that they were looking to expand. They were currently in Chestertown, Maryland. That is where they're headquartered. But they had a small spot on McKee Road that they had already outgrown. They were looking for warehouse, anywhere between 35 and 100,000 square feet. They said that they might need climate control area. They needed break rooms, bathrooms, and a couple of offices, and a minimum of 4 docks. So it's like, not a problem. I got you, bud. So I said, how about you farm some dates to me? We'll figure out a time that we can meet, and I got Linda on the phone. So I called Linda because I know that she is everything warehouses here in Kent County and makes me look better on a regular. So I got some dates from Jay and BJ, the president of the company, who she is fantastic. And within a few days, we had already scheduled a meeting. Following that meeting, which took place on August 22nd, so exactly a week later, by Tuesday, September 3rd, we were on tours to different sites here in Kent County for USA Fulfillment to look at and entertain as their new spot. And then by September 30th, we had farmed you out to PPG. We had taken you to the PPG spot on the initial tour. And then Linda and I were also working another deal for a vinyl fence company from Easton, Maryland, that decided to purchase the old PPG site altogether. And they were looking for a tenant. This tenant space had 4 docks, maybe more, actually, had more. It had break room. It had everything that BJ and Jay had brought to the table and said that they need. So the lease was under review by mid-December that same year. And then in 2020,
January 2020, we signed the lease.
Signed the lease. So from September to January, we worked our magic and made a more hospitable space for Jay, BJ, and USA Fulfillment. So that's how USA Fulfillment came to grow in Kent County. They were already here, but now they have the full wraparound hospitality of what we do here.
Yeah, absolutely. So March 1st is when we moved in, March 1st of 2020. Obviously 15 days later is when COVID hit, and our business doubled at that point. That everybody was buying online, and so we fulfill for online clients. And so that our 3 to 5 year plan got bumped up probably by 2 years within a month. And so we are, we have 78,000 square feet at the PPG building, the old PPG building. That was a 5-year lease that we have, and that was going to be something we were going to be fine for 5 years. Right now we're looking at it and we're about 70% capacity. Okay, so it's not where we planned to be at this point, which is that's a blessing. We're appreciative of that. And that we're now searching for a 250,000 to 300,000 square foot building. In the meantime, is we did invest about $1 million in infrastructure. We have we have racking in the building. We have a print and apply shipping station. We have conveyors now going through. That is going to finish up right before holiday season, where we go through another big lift. So that's all coming right in time. So we are. I've got to thank these two. They have been okay. I call about a bunch of different things, and they find me labor. They find me anything that we need. They have really made us feel welcome here in Delaware. So we're looking to lay some roots here in Kent County for a long time.
Thank you, Jay. So Jay's company is all employee owned, which I think is really important and interesting. And the request from the strategic fund is for equipment expansion, which is one of the allowable expenses out of the strategic fund. And so I'm hoping that Levy Court will move it to the business meeting. But any questions for any of us? Happy to answer them.
Any questions for? Well, Mr. Pettermage, this is exactly what the strategic fund was designed for, correct?
Well, absolutely. It's certainly one of the things that the strategic fund was set up to do, was to assist businesses with equipment purchases, capital resources for facilities, and that sort of thing. So yeah, it would definitely comply. While I have the microphone, I just want to say that I think Commissioner Buxton was on the bus tour this summer, this August, and we visited your facility. And a very impressive operation to see that building chock full of product and busy people getting it out the door.
Yes.
It's just amazing. And in fact, I even saw a former county employee working for you, which was interesting. But anyway.
Sorry about that.
No problem. I'm sure it was an upgrade for everybody. So, but no, I just appreciate you being here in Kent County. Thank you, Mr.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Buck?
Just a question regarding that visit. I recall there was an issue on the campus with storage and the ability to outdoor storage, and you were working through it. Did that ever get fixed, or am I on the wrong property?
That's
Actually, that was the fencing company
Yeah.
that was having the issue. So
It's
the
the
front of
back
the
part
building.
of it?
Yep, the back portion
Yes.
is exactly what you're.
But was it corrected?
It's in process.
I assume you're okay because I haven't heard from you.
Right. It's in process.
All righty.
Any other, nobody else? Move forward to the business meeting? 7 up. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next one, Garrison redesign.
Good job.
Ms. Barkowski.
Just to give you a little bit of background, Garrison Oak Industrial Park is one of the only shovel-ready industrial parks in Kent County. It was designed back in the early 2000s, and it was set up as a technical park. They thought they were going to get a chip manufacturer to come in, I think originally. So when they designed the park, they broke it up into small lots, small from these days, 10 acres, 14 acres. The majority of the requests that we get now are usually 20, 35, 40 acres parcels for large manufacturers or large logistics and distribution centers. So if you look at this slide right now, the dark green areas are drainage ditches. So every time we have an inquiry, and we've had many inquiries, probably 30 really good inquiries into this park, they can't combine the lots. They can't combine 1 and 4, and they can't combine 2 and 3 without going over these drainage ditches that are there in between those lots. So the city has requested that the original engineers, if they could go back in and see if we can combine the lots and move the drainage ditches in order to make it marketable. Because right now, it's a challenge. We just had a really good prospect with a competitor to Sackcrete, and they couldn't wait for the redesign to happen in order to purchase. And they were going to purchase 2 lots or 4 lots. So you can kind of see on the Google Earth, this is the latest one picture on there, but you can kind of see these drainage ditches in that area. And they purposely put them in there in the early 2000s, thinking that 10 acres was going to be fine for a corporate kind of campus or a small light manufacturer. So the city has asked us, City of Dover has asked us if Kent County would participate in paying for the redesign. The total cost is $12,000. The strategic fund request is for $6,000 to come from Levy Court in order to get Garrison Oak redesigned. The goal would be, if Levy Court so approves, the goal would be to get the redesign and get the budget for the redesign. The state has just come out with the Site Readiness Fund, which the regulations should be due out in January. And what that fund does is gets just what it says, sites ready. You can use it for infrastructure, you can use it for utilities. So there is thoughts that utilities will probably have to be moved on this if the drainage gets moved. So, The goal would be, if we can get the redesign done, that we take Garrison Oak through the strategic fund process in January. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Dave Hugg was going to be here, but he had a council meeting tonight in his new role that he wasn't expecting to be in. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Barkowski? No. Moving forward to the business meeting? 7 up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comments on these items? Any public comments?
Anybody online?
If we have any guests online and wish to address either items that were discussed this evening in committee, press *3 on your mobile phone or the raise hand icon on your computer.
I see no hands raised on WebEx at this time.
Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. At this time, we'll reconvene the business meeting. And we have no old business, new business. Mr. Angel, back to you.
All right. The proposed grants for small business and hospitality. I'll read each motion. Do I do it separate or together, Mr. Bedmars? Or
they were designed for one vote, but if you want to break them out, yeah, you can do that also, whichever you prefer.
Okay, I move to designate $3 million in Kent County American Rescue Plan Act funding for the purpose of establishing Kent County Small Business Assistance Grant Program in partnership with the Central Delaware Chamber of Commerce that will provide financial relief for non-for-profit small businesses based in Kent County that can be successfully demonstrate negative financial impacts on their business as a direct result of COVID-19 pandemic through a grant application and review process established and administered by the Central Delaware Chamber of Commerce. And I further move to designate $2 million in Kent County American Rescue Plan Act funding for the purpose of establishing a Kent County Hospitality Industry Grant Program in partnership with Kent County Tourism Corporation that will provide financial relief for profit tourism industry businesses located in Kent County, including but not limited to hotels, motels, banquet and meeting room facilities that can successfully demonstrate negative financial impacts on their business as a direct result of the COVID-19 pandemic through a grant application and review process established and administered by the Kent County Tourism Corporation.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Maston. Any questions on the motions? Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals that the grant program for the ARPA funds has been approved. Mr. Angel, number 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. USA Fulfillment, I make a motion to move to authorize the issuance of the Economic Development Grant in the amount of $10,000 to USA Fulfillment as financial assistance to acquire, automate convenience, equipment, scanners, and a Cubiscan shipping solution to be installed in their plant located at 1886 Lindberry Woods Road, Kent County, Delaware, with the source of funding for said grant being the Kent County Strategic Development Fund. And I further move that 100% of the said grant amount shall be disbursed to the grantee upon receipt of the county of evidence that the said property purchase has been consummated and equipment is installed.
Second. Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Hall. Any questions on the motion? Seeing no one, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals the motion has passed. Number 2 under number 2. Mr. Angel.
President,
I move to authorize the issuance of an economic development grant in the amount of $6,000 to the City of Dover as financial assistance for a redesign investigation concept plan for the Garrison Oak Industrial Park located in Kent County, Delaware, with the source of funding for said grant being the Kent County Strategic Development Fund. And I further move that 100% of the said grant amount shall be dispersed to the grantee upon receipt by the county of the evidence that the said redesign invoice has been paid in full.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call on that item, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals that item number 2 has been passed by Levy Court. Thank you, folks. Next item, Commissioner Buxton, you have a reintroduction.
Reintroduce ordinance LC 21-15. It's an ordinance to amend the comprehensive plan map designation in the official zoning map of Kent County, Delaware. Pursuant to the provisions of Kent County Code Volume 2, Chapter 205, Zoning, Articles 3, Section 205-8, Section 205-9, Articles 27, changes and amendments effective December 1st, 2000 as amended. Reference application CZ 21-04 for public hearing on Tuesday, December 21st, 2021 at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Item number 2.
Thank you, sir. Introduction of ordinance. LC 21-22. It's an ordinance to amend the comprehensive plan map designation in the official zoning map of Kent County, Delaware. Pursuant to the provisions of Kent County Code Volume 2, Chapter 205, Zoning, Articles 3, Section 205-8 and Section 205-9, Articles 28, changes and amendments effective December 1st, 2000, as amended. Reference application CZ-21-08 for public hearing on Tuesday, December 21st, 2021 at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Commissioner Angel. I believe item number 2.
Move to go on executive session immediately following the committee meetings on November 16th, 2021 for preliminary discussion on on-site acquisition for a publicly funded capital improvement, legal strategy session regarding collective bargaining or pending or potential litigation, and personal matters pursuant to 29 Del Code 10004, B2, 4, and 9.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Motion passed. Any information items? Seeing none, any public comments?
If we have anyone on WebEx that wishes to address any matter before Levy Court, now's the time. Star 3 on your mobile phone or raise the icon, the hand icon, and we'll bring you into the room.
See no hands raised on WebEx.
Thank you. Commissioner comments? Mr. Maston.
Just a quick question. Do we have an update on the hiring of a potential project manager for the ARPA funds?
Sure. The RFP submission deadline was last Monday, and we received 7 submissions. And we're in the early stages of reviewing them. I'm lining up some of the department managers to help with the review. And our goal would be to have a recommendation back to Levy Court by the first meeting in December.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. President. As an employee of a district in Smyrna, I can tell you that I ride through Smyrna on a regular basis, and I just want to commend Commissioner Maston for the 13,000 American flags that are posted in homes of veterans up and down Route 13, businesses in Smyrna for the Veterans Day. They do this every year for military celebrations and veteran celebrations. You did a great job, you and your 50 friends. Thank you for that.
Seeing none, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney to adjourn. All in favor, raise hands. We are adjourned.